Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another Simple-Salesforce tutorial video. My name is Jay. In part 2 of this tutorial, I'll show you how to make a SOQL query and a SOSL query using Simple-Salesforce. Alright, so from the last video, we learned how to connect to Salesforce using Simple-Salesforce library. We also learned how to extract metadata for your org as well as for Upsert. Now I'm going to create a new script. I'll name the script query demo.py. And I'm going to basically copy this, the libraries, the importing statements, in my login info. And also copy my so these two lines to connect to Salesforce as well as to create a Salesforce Upsert instance. Now let me go to my Salesforce account. So before you can make a query, you must first know how to write a SOQL query or SOSL query. So if you go to your Salesforce homepage on the top, and if you click on your profile name and click on Developer Console, and that opens the Developer Console window. Now here, let me close some of the windows. So if you go to Query Editor, and here's where you can write your SOQL queries. I'll go to different examples, but I'll start with something easy. So here, let's say I want to select all the accounts from the account object. So I want the ID, I want the account name, and here's stage name. And let me see if I can grab the account type. So type, issue account, yep. So stage name belongs to opportunity. So if I go to my Salesforce page, setup. Now under the build session, so I want to go to create and objects. So here's all my objects. Not all the objects, but all my custom objects. And here, let me go to customize and accounts, and let me take a look at the fields. I'll also put in this industry from account, and click on execute to display the records. And because I'm using developers org, I don't have that many records, but let's take a look. So right now it's showing that I have total of 19 records. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this SOQL statement and go back to my Python editor. And here I'll create a variable. I'll name this variable query SOQL. I'm going to store my SOQL statement inside this query SOQL variable. And you know what? I'm actually going to insert in clause. So I'm going to say where industry is in. So that way that you will know how to provide a filter or criteria to your SOQL queries. So here, let's say I only want to extra energy, industries, and banking. So let's do energy and banking. So here, this is going to be our first param. Let's do this. So we insert parameter block. And here, let's create another variable. So let's call this variable parameters. Not parameters, should be, let's do values. So with energy, it will create a list. Actually, we'll create a list, and it's going to be energy and banking. Now let's go to query SOQL variable. So here I'll use format, and here we can basically fill in our values to this value placeholder. So here, what we can do is we can take the values list object, and we need to give a separator. So it's going to be comma dot join Now let me just run this block of code by itself. Now if I print the query SOQL variable, and let me just take a look. So here I'm missing the single quotation. Now let me go back to my query. So here what I can do is I can provide a single quote. So here I'll make that double quotation. Oops. And inside the double quotations, I'll insert a single quotation in between. So on both ends. Now let me see. So if I run query SOQL, and alright, so here. So what we need to do is inside our SOQL statement, so we need to insert a single quotation here and another single quotation here. Now let me try again. So if I rerun line 14 and 15, and if I print query SOQL, now I'm getting the correct syntax. Alright, now I now have the SOQL statements ready. Now I can go ahead and run the SOQL query using Simple-Salesforce. So before I do that, so here if I print all the attributes and methods of my Salesforce object. Now if we look at these three items, so let me copy and paste over to my window. So Simple-Salesforce has three query methods: query, query all, and query more. From my understanding, that the differences between these three query methods is here, let me move query all to last. Is that query all? So if you use query all, this method will return all the records, whether or not if they are archived or not archived. First, if you use query method and the query more methods, these two query methods will not return archived records. So these two queries methods actually go together. And I'll show you how to use these two query methods in a second. And to be honest, ultimately query and query more and query all, they all serve the same purpose. In theory, it doesn't matter which method you use, except that these two queries or methods will go together. I'll show you how to use these two methods, and for the query all methods, since the usage is the same, I'll skip the query all method. And to make a SOQL query, so we want to take the Salesforce object .query, so we'll use the query method. And if we look at the parameters, the first parameter is the query parameter, and the second parameter is the include delete parameter. This parameter is asking, do you want to include deleted records as well? And the default is set to false. Here I'm going to pass the output to an object called records accounts. And I'll pass my SOQL query variable, so query SOQL, and that's it. Now if I run this line right here, and if I print records accounts, and that returns all the records as a dictionary. And if we look at the keys, so records accounts .keys, we have three keys. So total size, that's the total record size, and the down value indicating whether or not if there are additional batch that you need to query. So that's where the query more methods comes in. And records is all the records that you retrieve by making this query API call. So if your query will return more than 200 records, I'll show you how to grab all the records. And because my total records is only 19. Usually if your records exceed 200 records, you will need to use query mode method to create additional batches. So I'll show you how to do that. So by default, you want to start with using the query method. And I'm going to comment this out. So assuming that this query will return, let's say, 500 records. So what I usually do is I will make the same query API code, and I'll name my output to response. In here, I'll make a list object. So I'll name this list records. So the idea is I'm going to append all the records to this list records object until I create all the records. Then I can use pandas library to manipulate my my data set. So here I'm going to reference the response object .get, and I want to grab the records value. So if your query has additional records that I need to retrieve, then you're going to see the fourth key. Right now I only have 3 keys. So it's missing the next records URL key. So if your query has more records to retrieve, then, so here let me do this. Then when you reference the down value, oops, here let me take the records account object. I'm going to print the down value. Right now it's showing me that I have created all the records. So therefore, when I print this statement, it's returning as true. If there are additional records you need to retrieve, when you print this records accounts.get, and this statement is going to return false. And false means that there are additional records you need to retrieve. So here, let me finish the code. So here I'll create another variable. I'll name this variable next records URL. And from the response object .get, I want to get the next records URL value. And here I'm going to insert a while statement. So I'm going to keep making an API code to create my records until this statement returns as true. So here I'll inside this while statement. So I'll use query mode method this time. And instead of providing our SOQL query statement, so we want to pass the next records URL value. And this one more thing. For the identifier is URL, we want to set this value to 2. And now we can grab the additional records. So we'll reference the list records object, and I'll use the extend method and to join all the records together. So here I'll take the response object .get, and I want to join all the records, and we also want to grab the next records URL value. So next records URL is equals to response.get next records should be this should be next records URL. And that's it. So this is the query records method. And I'll delete this line right here. Now if I simply run this code block, and right now I don't have that many records, so this one will automatically fail. But assuming that for now, let's assume that this block of code is working, and if I print list records object, and that's going to return all the records and from this SOQL statement right here. Now we have all the records stored in our list object. We can use the pandas library dot data frame and I'll pass the output to a variable called df records. And here we can provide the list records object. And now if I run this statement right here, if I print df records, and let me let me configure my display settings. Okay, now if I print the df records object, let me expand the window a little bit more. Right, so here's the record ID, the record name, record type, industry, and I'm missing bank. Did I mistype the banking? Did I mistype the value? So let's see. So if I print my SOQL query, and I'll just grab the SOQL statement, banking. Let's take a look. Okay, so it's returning 4 records. So did I misread something? Oh, okay. So this one's banking. So I'm getting all the records back, based on this SOQL statement. Now the next example I want to show you is assuming that you have a join. So let's say for my SOQL statement, I want to query records from accounts and opportunity. So these two objects are the most popular and most used objects. So we're going to start from the opportunity object. And on the opportunity ID, name, accounts, let's do account name, accounts type, and accounts industry. Oh, and from the opportunity, also on the stage name. And let's query this statement to see if I'm getting any results back. Oh, so here I have a comma. Right. So from this SOQL statement, I'm getting 32 records back. I'm also getting records from 2 different objects. Here I have opportunity records ID, opportunity name, stage name, and accounts name, accounts type, and accounts industry. So here let me copy this SOQL statement. I'm going to, so here this is query, accounts, and opportunity records. So here I'll store my SOQL statement inside a variable. And I'll grab this block of code. Now if I run this code block, and this time if I print df records, so here let's take a look. So usually I just ignore attributes column. So here we have ID, name, stage name, and from the accounts records, you can see that Simple-Salesforce or Salesforce REST API will package all the records inside the object name. So in this case will be accounts, and it's going to basically create another nest dictionary, and so you have to unpack. So you have to unpack all the records individually. So I'll show you how to do that. We know we have all the opportunity records. So ID, name, and stage. So here let me go back to my my editor. So here I'll name this df accounts. I'm going to grab my accounts column from this data frame data set. So I'll reference. So from df records, I want to reference the accounts column. And here we can use the apply method. And I'll provide the PD-Sales function to basically to split all the dictionaries to their own individual columns. So here, let me just give you an example. So if we just run from df records to PD-Sales, when I run this statement right here, and it's going to only returns all the fields under the accounts column. So here, this the accounts attributes and account name, account type, account industry. And since I don't want the attribute column, so I can just drop that column. So here I'll provide, so from the label parameter, for the labels, I want to provide a column name. So it's going to be attributes. And it's going to be a column. And I don't want to replace the original records. So I'm going to set the in place value to false. Now I'm going to run line 45. And if I print the df accounts object, the df accounts object will return just the accounts fields that we specify from our SOQL query. So here, account name, type, and industry. And because for some of the column names, so for example, the name column name and the opportunity column name are the same. They both are name. And I want to rename the column names. So what I can do is I can rename the columns. So I'm going to use list comprehension. So here I'm going to array all the columns first. So here I'm going to say that for name in div accounts column, actually columns. And I'm going to concatenate accounts plus a period plus the column name. Now if I run line 46 and if I reprint the df accounts object, and that was, oh, so here I forgot that format, and here I forgot the name. Alright, so let me run this line right here. So if I print df accounts, okay, let's see. So let me run. So let me recreate df accounts. So df accounts. Okay, now if I run line 46, if I print df accounts object, and now from my column header name, and I can identify these three columns belong to accounts object. And lastly, I can drop the accounts column from the original df records object. So here, I'll take the df records that drop, and for the labels, we need to provide a list because we want to delete multiple columns. We want to delete the accounts column, attributes column. And it's going to be a column. And for the in place value, I'm going to set this to 2 because I do want to replace the original data sets. Now if I run line 48, and if I print df records, and this will return just the opportunity records. Now we have the opportunity records and the account records. We can merge them together. So I'll name this. So I'll name the final output to df opportunity accounts, actual accounts, basicity. I can use the concat method and want to provide the DF records object and the DF accounts object. And for the access, want to set that to 1. And that's it. Now if I run line 50, if I print DF OPPT accounts, and that's going to return the final data sets output, so which is going to match to this data set right here. And if I export this to a CSV file, let's name the file accounts. It should be opportunity to accounts .csv, and index equals to false. Now if I export the data set to a CSV file, so here's our query result. So looking at these, I know these 3 columns belongs to opportunity object, and these 3 columns belong to accounts object. And for the last item on the agenda, I'll give a very basic example how to make a SOSL query code. So this one will be SOSL query code. And I'll pass the output to a records variable. So we'll take the Salesforce object, and instead of using query method, we'll use a method called search method. I'm not too experienced when it comes to using SOSL query, but from one of the examples that the documentation provide. So you want to start out with using the fonts statement, and followed by the keyword that you want to search. Assuming I want to search across all the objects, and where any values or any column contains the value, United Oil installations. And you want to specify the values using a curly bracket, and followed by you want to use the returning statement. If you only want to return results from one particular object, then you want to type the object name. Let's say I only want the records from opportunity object. And I can also specify the columns, so ID column, name, and stage name. And close the statement with a single quotation. Now if I run line 56, if I print records object, and that returns all the records matched to this criteria. And if we print the keys, and there's only one key value, which is search records. So if I use the pandas library, the data frame, and from the records object, I want to grab the search records value. And here I see that from the opportunity object, and these 3 records match to my parameter. So this is everything I have to cover in this video, and hopefully you guys found the video useful. And for the next video, I'll show you how to create, update, delete, and perform Upsert using Simple-Salesforce.